What's up, you beautiful beasts, and welcome to the video where we're going to be talking about a game that has been sat at the top of my most wanted list for longer than I care to admit. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at Blight Survival. I want to talk about this uniquely visceral survival game in which you and up to 3 friends venture into the infested no man's land of warring 14th century Europe, cutting your way through the different factions with surprisingly brutal combat. Now, I'm aware there's such a thing as overhyping a game. I am laughed at regularly because of how excited I got for the day before. So trust me when I say I've stepped in this bear trap more than once, but there's something fun about getting hyped for a new game, being a little bit excited to see what different studios are cooking. And with over 1.5 million wishlists, I think it's safe to say that I'm not the only one excited for Blight Survival. Before we get up to our knees in mud and corpses though, consider supporting my channel by liking this video and subscribing. It massively helps me out. And don't forget, you can catch me live 3 days a week. All the links for it are down below in the description of this video. Blight Survival was brought to life by Hania Studios, which was just 2 people way back in 2022. Apologies if I might have mispronounced that. In 2024, they partnered with Behavior Interactive, the team behind Dead by Daylight, a game that I have some strong feelings about. Since then, we've heard very little outside of their Discord about the development of Blight. Their socials go months between posts, and their YouTube has a total of 5 videos, with the first reveal being 3 months ago. It took 2.5 years before we had another teaser, and the most recent is a thank you video showcasing the brutal finishes and a little message from the team. It's an incredibly sparse approach to social media channels for a studio, and I speak as an ex-social media manager for several different projects. The thing is though, I actually applaud them for this. Rather than fucking around with viral marketing, they're getting their heads down and working on a product to impress. Rather than screaming into the void of social media to build a community, they're just getting on with it. And it's working. What little we've seen of Blight Survival has left a massive impression. So much that it's the 5th most wishlisted game on Steam. Now that's impressive. Blight Survival is made on the Unreal 5 engine, and you'll be taking control of a Rhythm, part of a vanguard of soldiers on the front line against the Blight. You are stripped of your identity and forced to wear a mask to survive the spores as you venture into the ravaged and destroyed lands to learn more. Each session begins in your stronghold, a hub area where you'll decide your loadout, invite friends, commune with several NPCs, and finally pick a mission to head out on. Once you're beyond the walls of safety, you'll cut through the Blighted and several enemy factions such as deserters and thieves while picking up the loot left behind, discovering points of interest, and completing objectives to cut the infection out at the root. Blight Survival takes on an extraction-light style of gameplay loop in which you find yourself asking just how brave you are. Do you push deeper hoping to find that one extra bit of loot, or do you count your blessings that you've survived this far and extract in hopes to rearm, upgrade, and return to fight another day? And fight you will. The developers have said the combat is about smaller, more deadly groups of enemies, where if you have poor preparation, you'll just end up another corpse among the ranks of the dead. They're pushing for a cinematic and brutal system where every enemy is deadly if you underestimate them, which all in all sounds like a fucking good time. I've said before and I'll say it again, I enjoy the apocalyptic scenarios where the creatures, whatever they are, actually pose a threat rather than becoming an irritating nuisance as we've seen in a number of other titles. Needless to say, I'm excited. Alongside all of this, the team behind Blight have said there are no plans for microtransactions, but rather post-launch DLC. The game isn't planned to be a live service title, but instead a story you can choose to play through with friends, which again is music to my ears. It's a rather refreshing turn considering how easily this game would have fit the live service standard that we've come to expect lately. I genuinely expected Blight Survival to end up being almost Warframe-like in design, in that you complete different missions to gather the best equipment that you can and arm yourself for even harder missions, perhaps even some horde mode with friends, etc. I even drew quite a few parallels between it and Space Marine 2 with just how visceral they both seem. Not to mention, this game is entirely PvE with plans to be cross-platform at launch, and again, this is another thing that I'm glad about. There's always an awkward balance which needs to be struck between fan bases when trying to appeal to both audiences, PvP and PvE, which can be an incredibly difficult thing to maintain. I mean, just look at Arc Raiders and the endless shit-flinging that's going on between the communities over there. Needless to say, the things that I'm being told about Blight Survival have me excited because it feels refreshing, which seems to be quite the juxtaposition, seeing as there's nothing fresh in this game. Quite the opposite, in fact. Everything's rotten and covered in mud. From grounded and brutal combat to the ability to drop in and out of co-op on a whim across multiple platforms, a development team that seems old school in their principles of how they want to sell us a game, focused and driven on its creation rather than leveraging socials to build an audience for an early access title. The only glaring shame is that it won't be coming out in 2026, which is shit. But I only say that because I desperately want to play the game. They are running playtests, which you can apply to join via their Discord, and I'll leave links to that and their Steam in the description, as well as everything else. Are you excited for this game, or as usual, am I full of shit? Let me know down in the comments below. I hope you've enjoyed. Make sure to like and subscribe. Come and join us on the Discord, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Ta-ra.
I've been drinking Kool-Aid cameras like I did when I was 9, 'cause I like to pretend that I haven't lost the time. In the end, the nostalgia, though it tastes fine, I can only drink a couple 'cause it